In a world where demons waged endless war and blood soaked the earth for 100 years, a single word was spoken and time stopped. Lightning froze in mid-air, souls fell silent. Even fear forgot how to breathe. That word did not come from a god. It came from a man who had spent nearly a century comprehending the heavens. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. The short old man's body trembled violently, yet his eyes still bulged with stubborn arrogance as he rasped, "I am a celestial. You still dare show me such disrespect?" Before the words could leave his mouth completely, Wang Lin frowned. His gaze turned icy as it locked onto the old man. Slowly he raised his right hand, and within his palm a ghostly, sinister light condensed. He had long since lost patience for the old man's meaningless bluster. Without hesitation, Wang Lin pressed the soul search spell straight toward the old man's head. A shrill scream tore through the air. Bound tightly by the celestial capture net, the old man was utterly helpless. There was nowhere to flee, nowhere to hide. Terror flooded his eyes as he shouted hoarsely, "I'll talk. I'll tell you everything." Wang Lin did not stop. Just as his right hand was about to press down completely, his expression suddenly shifted. He paused mid-motion. Outside the tower, within the rolling black clouds above the soul-refining tribe, space itself was abruptly cleaved open. A clear, resonant blade hymn pierced through the heavens. A black blade streaked forward like lightning, arriving at the tower in an instant. Within that blade was Xu Liguo, clutching a brush in his hand. He rushed inside, his face twisted into an ingratiating smile as he hurriedly said, "Master, little Xu has captured the treasure for you, but I'm exhausted to death. Master, you have no idea how fast this thing ran." "Not bad." Wang Lin nodded faintly and extended his right hand. The brush flew into his palm. The instant he grasped it, Wang Lin felt powerful celestial spiritual energy circulating within the brush. Along with it came a heavy oppressive pressure, as though the object itself carried the weight of the heavens. Hearing Wang Lin's praise, Xu Liguo immediately beamed with delight. Ever since his betrayal had failed, he had been desperately searching for a chance to redeem himself. Now at last he had earned merit. Wang Lin ignored Xu Liguo and the half-moon blade. Holding the brush, he slowly closed his eyes. Celestial spiritual energy surged within his body, flowing steadily as it entered the brush. At that moment, a faint golden glow appeared at the brush's tip. The glow grew brighter and brighter. As Wang Lin's celestial spiritual energy poured in, the golden light expanded until it illuminated the entire tower. From afar, the tower seemed to radiate flowing streams of golden brilliance, like liquid sunlight cascading downward. Below, every member of the soul-refining tribe dropped to their knees. Faces filled with reverence, they bowed deeply toward the tower in silent worship. Bound within the celestial capture net, the short old man's pupils contracted violently at the sight of the dazzling golden light erupting from the brush in Wang Lin's hand. A bitter, sour feeling surged in his chest. When he had first obtained the brush, it too had emitted golden light. But compared to what he now beheld, one was the blazing sun, the other nothing more than a flickering firefly. So what if he can make it release such powerful golden light? The old man sneered inwardly. I refuse to believe he can truly comprehend the usage of a celestial treasure without my guidance. Back then, if not for that jade, I would never have figured out how to use the celestial brush. Of course, my own intelligence played a crucial role as well. As these thoughts passed through his mind, a trace of pride surfaced in his eyes. Yet that pride vanished almost instantly. Daze replaced it. Then sheer, uncontrollable shock. Before his very eyes, Wang Lin suddenly opened them, and with a single wave of his hand, drew a one-stroke symbol in mid-air. This is impossible. The old man's thoughts spiraled wildly. Yes, he's only slightly more intelligent than me. He must have learned it after seeing me use it before. Yes, that must be it. Before he could fully convince himself, the next scene shattered his reasoning completely. Wang Lin's eyes now carried a faint trace of golden light. With another wave of his hand, he added a second stroke. A two-stroke symbol took form. His right hand did not stop. With a third stroke, a three-stroke symbol, blazing like the sun, manifested before him. The instant the symbol was completed, the celestial spiritual energy within Wang Lin's body activated of its own accord, surging violently into the symbol. In the eyes of Xu Liguo and the short old man, the symbol radiated absolute perfection. It was as though the heavenly Tao itself had been imprinted upon it. Waves of golden light rippled outward, pouring out of the tower and replacing the glow at the brush's tip. The golden radiance engulfed heaven and earth alike. The black cloud formed by the soul flag melted away instantly, retreating as if scorched, revealing a vasty, clear blue sky. Golden light shone from Wang Lin's eyes as his hand halted mid-air after the third stroke. His white robe fluttered, though there was no wind. His long hair flowed backward as a majestic celestial aura erupted from his body. Holding the celestial brush, Wang Lin looked as though he himself had become a celestial being. The golden symbol carried the majesty of the heavens and the authority of the Tao. Xu Liguo stood frozen, utterly stunned. The golden light pouring from Wang Lin made his eyes ache. More than pain, it instilled an overwhelming sense of terror, as if Wang Lin needed only a single thought to erase him from existence. He had experienced similar pressure before, but never this intense. This sensation carved itself deep into his soul. As for the short old man, he stared blankly at Wang Lin, his shock bordering on madness as he screamed, "Celestial Emperor." Wang Lin took a slow, steady breath and pointed toward the symbol. Instantly, it dissipated into countless motes of light, drifting out of the tower and merging with the world itself. Now Wang Lin said coldly, "Tell me your identity." The golden light in his eyes faded, yet his gaze remained sharp as lightning, piercing straight through the old man's pupils and into his very soul. Wang Lin had activated the heavenly devil sound. His voice carried a devilish power that burrowed into the old man's ears, wrapping tightly around his origin soul. He had chosen not to use the soul search spell. Though the old man's mid-stage ascendant cultivation was hollow and unstable, his origin soul carried a power unlike that of ordinary celestial guardians. With Wang Lin's cautious nature, he would never recklessly employ soul search unless absolutely necessary. The old man's eyes turned hollow as he muttered, "I am from the refining feather sect. My name is Huang Yu. I entered the demon spirit land while being hunted by enemies. Later, I did not dare to leave. I chose to remain here. As long as one is careful, this place is safe." Wang Lin's eyes flickered. Where did the celestial seed and celestial treasures come from? The demon spirit land. The old man nodded faintly. After arriving here, I accidentally entered an abandoned cave and obtained them there. What else did you obtain besides the celestial seed and the celestial brush? A trace of fervor flashed through Wang Lin's eyes. I obtained 2 bags of holding. One had no divine sense imprint and contained the celestial capture net and other items, including a jade. The other had a divine sense imprint and could not be opened. It was stolen by someone else. Wang Lin's expression hardened. Who stole it? A cultivation couple. Hatred briefly surfaced in the old man's hollow eyes. Fortunately, I split the bags and placed my divine sense on the other one. Otherwise, everything would have been taken. Such hatred was only natural. To grasp immense fortune, only to lose it moments later, that sensation was unforgettable. After further questioning regarding the couple's appearance, Wang Lin asked what was recorded on the jade. It recorded methods for using several celestial treasures and celestial spells, including the creation of celestial guardian puppets. However, restrictions prevented me from viewing everything. Under the combined suppression of the golden gaze and the heavenly devil sound, the old man could not lie. Every word was truth. "Where is the jade?" Wang Lin asked. "In my bag of holding." "How long can the celestial capture net restrain someone?" 3 days. Wang Lin flicked his sleeve. A strand of celestial spiritual energy entered the old man's body, sealing his origin soul. He then sat down in a lotus position to cultivate. The old man passed out completely. 3 days passed in a blink. On the third day, the celestial capture net flashed green, released the old man, and shrank into a palm-sized net beside him. Wang Lin opened his eyes and extended his hand. The old man's bag of holding flew over. He scanned it, frowned slightly, then reached out again and shook the old man. More than 10 bags of holding fell from the old man's body. Casually tossing him aside, Wang Lin activated the 3-talent sword formation, completely sealing the unconscious figure. One by one, Wang Lin examined the bags. At last his gaze settled on an unremarkable bag. After erasing the divine sense imprint, his consciousness entered. Inside, nothing but jade. Countless jades. His pupils suddenly shrank. His heart skipped a beat. A green jade appeared in his palm. It was neither spirit stone nor celestial jade, but a material unfamiliar even to Wang Lin. Warmth radiated from it, enveloping his body. As his divine sense entered the jade, Wang Lin's expression changed dramatically. His eyes shone, then slowly dimmed as shock consumed him. The jade recorded the usage of 3 celestial treasures and a true celestial spell. Within it echoed a voice. Qin Shuang, having just advanced to reign celestial realm celestial general, this father gifts you these treasures. These 3 celestial treasures were personally refined by me. As for the celestial spell, though not high-ranked, it is exceedingly interesting. I believe you will like it. The Pen of Immortal Touch is a treasure imbued with the power of the sun. Father once gathered 12 suns and refined them into 12 symbols that may be drawn with the pen. Its might is passable. As for the celestial capture net, although its grade is merely average, the soul sealed within it has developed a trace of intelligence. That alone makes it interesting. I believe you will find it to your liking. The 3rd treasure is best used in conjunction with your Rain Celestial Sword. It is called the Spirit Sheath. By placing the celestial sword within it, the sword spirit can be tempered and strengthened. Father refined it using origin celestial metal taken from the celestial cleansing pool. As for the celestial spell, although it is a low-grade celestial spell and its power is not exceptional, it is nonetheless extremely interesting. It is called the Stop Spell. Father discovered it by chance upon a mysterious planet. Unfortunately, it was incomplete, but through prolonged research, Father was able to restore it. Father suspects that this spell is merely one fragment of a vast combination spell. Regrettably, the remaining parts were never found, and thus the complete spell could not be restored. The excitement on Wang Lin's face slowly faded, replaced by calm contemplation. The jade was divided into 3 sections. The first section contained detailed explanations and methods for using the 3 celestial treasures. There were no restrictions placed upon this portion, and it could be accessed with ease. The other 2 sections, however, were sealed by powerful restrictions. Whenever divine sense attempted to probe them, only chaotic images and fragmented words appeared, preventing full comprehension. The second section recorded the method of refining celestial guardians. The short old man had only been able to grasp fragments of this knowledge by peering through cracks in the restriction. There was also a remark left behind in the jade. Father has placed a bloodline restriction upon this jade. Without your bloodline, it is impossible to fully unlock its contents. However, the jade had existed for far too long. Even the passage of time itself had begun to erode the power of the restrictions. The seal on the first section had completely dissipated. The seal on the second section had loosened greatly. Only the restriction on the final section remained perfectly intact. Among the 3 celestial treasures, I have only seen 2, Wang Lin murmured. The spirit sheath is missing. These treasures were bestowed upon a woman named Qin Shuang. If her surname is Qin, then her father must be... Wang Lin's eyes suddenly flared with light. Celestial Emperor Qin Lin. Holding the jade, Wang Lin fell into deep contemplation. After a long silence, he closed his eyes once more. Judging from the tone of this jade, Qin Shuang was the daughter of the Rain Celestial Emperor. She also possessed a weapon known as the Rain Celestial Sword. Suddenly, Wang Lin's eyes snapped open, bursting with golden radiance. Rain Celestial Sword. Rain Celestial Sword. Could there truly be such a shocking coincidence in this world? Could the female corpse that Senior Zhou Yi was obsessed with be the daughter of Celestial Emperor Qin Lin? After pondering briefly, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding. The pagoda given to him by Zhou Yi flew out. Before it could expand, Wang Lin formed a seal with his right hand and pointed. The pagoda trembled. From within, the corpse of a woman dressed in white slowly floated out, so breathtakingly beautiful that it stirred the heart merely by being seen. Staring at her, Wang Lin's gaze deepened. His eyes flickered as his two fingers formed a sword. With a flick of his hand, a blade of wind slashed across her wrist, instantly leaving a thin red mark. Yet before blood could even flow, the wound closed and vanished, returning to pristine perfection. Wang Lin's expression did not change, but the light in his eyes intensified. With a thought, Ling Tianho's sword energy surged into his fingers. He struck again. Another red mark appeared on the woman's wrist. This time, although it still healed, the speed was noticeably slower. A single drop of crimson blood seeped from the wound. Wang Lin withdrew the sword energy and caught the blood. With a sweep of his sleeve, the woman returned to the pagoda, which he then stored back into his bag of holding. "I only need to test it," Wang Lin murmured, "to know whether you truly are Qin Shuang." Without hesitation, he pressed the drop of blood onto the jade. The instant the blood touched its surface, it transformed into crimson mist and slowly seeped into the jade. Cracking sounds rang out as the outer layer of the jade shattered. What emerged was a crystal-clear green jade threaded with a faint blood-red line. Wang Lin paid no attention to its beauty. His divine sense swept in. Immediately he drew in a sharp breath. The seals on the final two sections had been completely undone. She, Wang Lin sighed softly, was truly Qin Shuang. His divine sense plunged back into the jade, carefully examining the newly unlocked contents. Time passed imperceptibly. Wang Lin remained immersed within the jade for an unknown duration. On the second day, the short old man awoke. Yet the three-talent sword formation still surrounded him. Cold sword intent seeped through the tips of the blades and into his body, freezing his soul and preventing even the slightest movement. With his cultivation, he could vaguely sense that the true mystery of the formation lay not in the swords themselves, but in the unfathomable force contained within them. Moreover, Xu Liguo hovered nearby. From time to time he drifted past the old man, revealing a sinister smile as he casually brandished the black blade before his face. Several days later, Wang Lin finally withdrew his divine sense from the jade. He opened his eyes and exhaled slowly. "These Celestials," Wang Lin said calmly, "are even crueler than cultivators." The second section recorded the complete method for refining Celestial Guardian puppets. This technique is not meant for Celestials at all. It is meant to be used on cultivators. Cultivators are captured, refined, and transformed. If the refinement succeeds, the resulting Celestial Guardian is terrifyingly powerful. To the Celestials, a Guardian is not a person, it is merely a treasure. Guardians are classified as low, medium, and high grade. According to the Jade, a low-grade Celestial Guardian is comparable to a peak late-stage Ascendant, the absolute limit of the first step. As for medium and high-grade Guardians, I cannot yet determine how far they extend into the second step. As for the third section, Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. It is a map one that appears to depict the terrain of a cave. He turned his gaze toward the short old man. "Hand it over." The old man's face twisted with bitterness. "You already have all my bags of holding. What else could you possibly want?" In his heart, he cursed furiously. That cultivation couple only stole one bag. This Wang Lin leaves me with nothing at all. Wang Lin gave him a cold glance and slapped his bag of holding. 10 shattered jade fragments flew out, each one a core from a Celestial Guardian the old man had once possessed. The old man's expression changed drastically. Wang Lin clenched his right hand, merging the 10 fragments into one. Then he reached out, grabbed the old man, and struck his forehead with his palm. The old man's origin soul was forced out of his body. At the moment it emerged, Wang Lin spat out a mouthful of origin energy, enveloping the soul completely. As it was refined, the celestial spiritual energy within condensed into a finger-sized shard of broken jade. Once the jade was retrieved, the old man's origin soul was cast from the tower and devoured by the black cloud outside, becoming nothing more than a fragment within the soul flag. As for the old man's body, Wang Lin did not even glance at it. With a flick of his sleeve, it crumbled into dust. One reason for feeding the soul to the soul flag was simple practicality. It would have been wasteful otherwise. After all, it was a late-stage soul transformation origin soul. The other reason, Wang Lin was interested in the cave the old man had discovered. However, he knew now was not the time to leave. The most crucial matter was to use the remaining decades to push both his cultivation and his treasures to an entirely new peak to prepare for the 100-year agreement with the ancient demon. This was especially true for the two new celestial treasures and the low-grade celestial spell he had obtained. Thinking of the celestial spell, a trace of excitement surfaced in Wang Lin's eyes. This was a true celestial spell. Throughout his life, aside from the celestial slaughter art, every spell he had mastered was merely an imitation derived from low-grade celestial techniques. True celestial spells were simply too rare. Even someone like the All-Seer coveted them immensely, let alone Wang Lin. Celestial spells were genuine complete spells, their power several times greater than ordinary techniques. The demon spirit land had drawn countless cultivators, driving them to slaughter and submit to the natives, all for a single chance to fuse with an ancient demon and obtain a celestial spell. Within the Heavenly Fate sect, one must hold the position of true disciple for countless years before being granted a celestial spell, and even then, the All-Seer would only bestow an ordinary one. The stop spell. Wang Lin took a deep breath. The chant and structure of the spell surfaced within his mind. Slowly he closed his eyes and immersed himself in comprehension. Time flowed silently. In the blink of an eye, 20 years passed. The war between the Sky Demon country and the Fire Demon country dragged on endlessly, growing increasingly intense. Unable to endure any longer, the remaining demon countries finally decided to intervene. The ancient demon of Sky Demon country had anticipated this long ago. When he initiated the war, he used his own power to seal Sky Demon City completely. As for the other cities, he abandoned them without hesitation. Only the capital and Dragon Lake were guarded, as he waited calmly for the agreement with Wang Lin to arrive. He was not afraid of betrayal. If Wang Lin dared break the pact, the ancient demon would hunt him across heaven and earth until he was slain. He believed Wang Lin was not so short-sighted. Under these circumstances, the soul-refining tribe rapidly expanded and grew ever stronger. Over the decades, mysterious black-robed figures began appearing across the battlefields of the Fire Demon country. They drew the attention of both sides. These figures harvested vast quantities of soul fragments and reaped countless lives wherever they passed. Each one displayed terrifying battle prowess. The demon soldiers who grew rapidly in strength amid the carnage were promoted again and again, replacing the fallen generals. Wang Lin paid no attention to the battle raging within the Fire Demon country. For the past 20 years, his mind had been completely immersed in the comprehension of a celestial spell. Celestial spells were fundamentally different from ordinary techniques. They could not be compared at all. The difficulty of learning them was far beyond that of common cultivation arts. 20 years was merely a beginning. As Wang Lin devoted himself to the celestial spell and the study of celestial treasures, time flowed onward like water through his fingers. Unknowingly, more than 50 years slipped by. Less than 10 years remained before his agreement with the ancient demon would arrive. Throughout nearly a century, aside from studying celestial spells and treasures, Wang Lin had never ceased imprinting upon the scattered devil. Over time, this imprint grew ever stronger, deeper, and more complete. After decades of comprehension, Wang Lin had only just touched the outer edge of the stop celestial spell. This spell did not require vast amounts of celestial spiritual energy. Instead, its true requirement lay elsewhere in one's comprehension of the heavens. More precisely, the principles encompassed by this spell lay far beyond the realm of ordinary cultivators. It was an exceedingly esoteric form of knowledge, one that demanded endless pondering and understanding before mastery could even be approached. Just as Wang Lin had spent many years gradually comprehending the celestial slaughter art before achieving small completion, the stop spell followed the same path. While immersed in this profound comprehension, Wang Lin completely lost track of time. During the decades of his closed-door cultivation, the soul-refining tribe continuously dispatched large numbers of people to the front lines of the fire demon country, harvesting souls and strengthening themselves. This situation persisted until troops from other demon countries entered the sky demon country. From that moment on, the soul-refining tribe ceased their outward expansion and instead turned inward, defending sky demon country. Large numbers of tribe members returned from the fire demon country and engaged in fierce battles against the demon soldiers of other nations. However, the soul-refining tribe was ultimately too small. They could only defend the territory beneath the black cloud and were unable to venture beyond it. Eventually, when the armies of other demon countries realized they could not breach Sky Demon City, which was sealed by the ancient demon himself, they shifted their attention. Their new target, the soul-refining tribe. This small tribe was clearly abnormal. The black cloud above them acted as a natural defensive barrier, repeatedly blocking invading demon soldiers. Its existence alone aroused intense suspicion. Of course, not all demon countries focused on the soul-refining tribe. Only the leaders of 2 nations made this choice. The remaining 5 redirected their forces back toward the fire demon country. The 7 demon countries did not commit their full strength. Unlike the ancient demon of Sky Demon Country, they lacked the resolve to wager everything. At this moment, the Water Demon Country and the Thunder Demon Country each dispatched a vice commander-in-chief leading 100,000 demon soldiers. One army advanced from the north, the other from the south. Together they encircled the soul-refining tribe. The vice commander-in-chief of the Water Demon Country was a woman. Her appearance was unremarkable, but her eyes gleamed with icy light. At her side stood a Water Demon general. As for the Thunder Demon Country, their vice commander-in-chief was a burly middle-aged man. He alone wore no armor. Lightning constantly surged across his body, and the ground beneath his feet was scorched black. This insignificant savage tribe actually possesses such a remarkable treasure. The burly man's voice rumbled like thunder, though it sounded as though he were speaking to himself. Interesting. This trip to Sky Demon Country yielded nothing, he continued coldly. But if I bring this treasure back to the Demon Emperor, it will not be in vain. His eyes lit up as he took a step forward. Bang! The ground beneath him shattered, and the scorched area rapidly spread outward. His body shot toward the black cloud like a bolt of lightning. His speed was terrifying, clearly matching that of an early-stage ascendant cultivator. With a single step, he crossed vast distance and arrived at the edge of the black cloud surrounding the soul-refining tribe. Demonic spiritual energy surged around him, forming an invisible shield that pushed the black cloud backward. Within the soul-refining tribe, Xianxia stood calmly gazing skyward. On the ground, countless tribe members sat in the lotus position, utterly focused. Souls scatter, Xianxia shouted. Instantly, all tribe members released the soul fragments they had gathered. The entire world filled with black mist formed from condensed souls. Under their master's control, the mist gathered into a roaring black river that surged toward the burly man. The man burst into laughter. Instead of retreating, he charged forward and threw a punch. This single punch carried enormous demonic spiritual energy. Thunder roared as it transformed into a raging thunder dragon that slammed directly into the incoming black river. From afar, the vice commander-in-chief of the Water Demon Country watched coldly. The Thunder Vice Commander-in-Chief has underestimated this black cloud, she said calmly. A demon general beside her stiffened. My lady, does this black cloud hold hidden secrets? Can he truly break it? This black cloud is composed of countless soul fragments, she replied. If no one controlled it, he could break it with ease. But if someone is guiding it, she paused slightly. Then he will have to give everything he has. The demon general smiled faintly. All the better. As agreed, he takes the black fog and we take the people. We need not expend strength at all. Once we capture these tribe members and study them, we are certain to learn something valuable. The thunder dragon collided with the black cloud. A violent shockwave erupted. An opening tore through the black cloud. The black river dispersed and the burly man laughed loudly. A mere tribe of savages dares attack me. What a swarm of ants! As he spoke, he stepped through the gap. Behind him, the soldiers of the Thunder Demon country erupted into thunderous cheers. Their shouts reverberated across the battlefield, bolstering his momentum even further. Not far away, the woman from the Water Demon country shook her head. "There is no suspense left," she said coldly. "From today onward, the soul-refining tribe will cease to exist. Once the black fog is seized, capture the tribe members. Kill anyone who resists." The surrounding demon generals immediately acknowledged her command. The burly man stepped directly into the soul-refining tribe's territory. A cruel grin spread across his face, as though he had already seen panic and despair engulfing this insignificant tribe. Yet the moment he entered, his expression changed. Within this 50-kilometer region, tribe members sat everywhere in lotus position gazing at him. But there was no panic, no fear. Instead, their eyes were calm, a calm that was unmistakably real. Within that calm lay mockery and an intense, chilling coldness. Countless such gazes fell upon him. The Thunder Vice Commander-in-Chief's heart skipped a beat. His steps slowed unconsciously. From this vantage point, he could see a 5-kilometer-wide empty area at the tribe's center. At its heart stood a towering structure, a tower. The instant he saw it, his pupils shrank. With his experience, he immediately understood every great tribe had its faith. This tower was clearly the core of theirs. He sneered, "After I destroy this tower, I want to see if you can still look at me like that." He charged toward it. The tribe members remained silent, their gazes cold and unyielding. This silence pressed upon him like an invisible force, stirring unease deep within his heart. But he trusted his cultivation. With a cold snort, he raised his fist. "Stop." A flat, barely audible voice drifted out from within the tower. The voice was weak, yet the moment it appeared, time itself seemed to freeze. The black cloud stilled. An indescribable power descended and enveloped the burly man. His body trembled violently. The lightning dancing across his body went completely still. In that instant, his aura vanished without a trace. His body froze in mid-air. His fist had traced half an arc, yet it would never complete it. Only his eyes could still move, and within them bloomed a terror he had never known. If that fear were an ocean, it could drown the entire demon spirit land. Wang Lin slowly walked out from the tower. His long hair flowed freely, and dressed in white, he resembled a celestial descending from the heavens. He did not even glance at the burly man. With a casual wave of his sleeve, a terrifying gust of wind erupted. The burly man coughed up blood as his body was hurled away, violently blasted out of the soul-refining tribe. He flew like a falling meteor blood mist, bursting from his body along the way. Finally, he smashed into the ground far away, still unable to move even an inch. Silence, absolute silence, blanketed the battlefield. The woman from the Water Demon country felt her pupils shrink violently. For a brief instant, her mind went completely blank. Then she shouted desperately, "Retreat now!" Too late. Wang Lin floated out of the soul-refining tribe, hands clasped behind his back. Killing intent surged from the tribe members as they followed him. The woman's expression twisted. "Formation!" she screamed. The demon soldiers had only just begun to move. Their demonic spiritual energy had barely stirred. "Stop!" Wang Lin spread his arms, raised his head, and closed his eyes. Decades of comprehension had allowed him to touch the threshold of a celestial spell. This was his first time unleashing one at full power. With a single word, the world froze. All beings outside the soul-refining tribe stopped completely. The tribe members surged forward as if receiving a divine command, slaughtering mercilessly. Above them, the black cloud expanded, covering the sky. The woman from the water demon country was frozen as well. After 3 breaths, blue light erupted around her. Terror filled her eyes as she turned and fled without hesitation. At that moment, 3 streaks of swordlight shot forth. They instantly caught up, encircling her. The sword spirits Zishu Haiju and Mo Yang roared in unison. The woman's heart trembled. The 3 swords pierced her body. Blood mist bloomed, and she died. Wang Lin floated silently in the air, quietly sensing the power of the celestial spell. The slaughter below felt as though it belonged to another world. "I have yet to fully grasp this spell," he murmured. "But the agreement with the ancient demon approaches. There is no time left. It is time to leave." He waved his hand. The 3 swords returned. Zishu held the woman's origin soul in its mouth. 1 month later, Wang Lin departed from the soul-refining tribe. He took with him the 1 billion soul flag, leaving behind a strand of divine sense to guard the tribe. Instead of heading straight to the fire demon country, he first went to the cave. Upon the revered dragon path, he carefully recorded all 11 symbols before leaving. The jade spoke of 12 symbols, Wang Lin murmured. But only 11 remain. "I wonder where the last one lies." His expression remained calm. He stepped forward, activated greater teleportation, and vanished toward the fire demon country. The fire demon country was engulfed in war. The remaining 7 countries continuously reinforced their armies within its borders. This land had become a vast battlefield. After nearly 100 years of slaughter, the earth was soaked red. Upon entering, the stench of blood assaulted the senses. Countless shattered corpses littered the ground. Death aura rose from them, forming a grey mist that shrouded the entire nation. This was a war of annihilation between the Sky Demon country and the Fire Demon country. There were no victors, only lives exchanged for lives, as the Fire Demon country was slowly ground into nothingness. The capital stood completely empty. Even the Demon Emperor had personally entered the battlefield. Aside from the Holy Land, Demon Valley, the entire capital was deserted. Like his counterpart, the ancient demon of the Fire Demon country sealed the capital, forbidding entry. Demon Valley lay deep within the city. Dense demonic spiritual energy surged from it, enveloping the capital entirely. From afar, the capital appeared cloaked in fog demonic energy interwoven with death aura, a sight that stirred profound sorrow. When Wang Lin landed outside the capital, his footstep produced a crisp crunch. In the oppressive silence, the sound rang clearly. The dark red earth beneath his feet felt muddy. That mud was formed from the blood of tens of millions of beings soaked into the ground over the last 100 years. That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.